The Solomon Islands is an archipelago country in Oceania, consisting of nearly 1,000 islands. It is a parliamentary democracy and one of Asia's poorest nations. Economic dynamism and development in the Solomon Islands remain stifled by a number of serious deficiencies that include poor governance and inefficient public sector. Underdeveloped legal and physical infrastructure, combined with political instability, continues to undermine the emergence of a vibrant private sector. The Solomon Islands' limited protection of property rights is a further drag on an entrepreneurial activity. The population is 674,581. The 2016 GDP was 1.2 million US, with a ranking of 176th out of 195 countries. Tuvia was ranked number 195, with the lowest GDP of 34 million US, and the United States was ranked number 1, with the highest GDP of 100 million US. The per capita GDP was the same in 2014 and 2015. GDP real growth was 2% in 2014, 1.8% in 2015, and 3.2% in 2016. .7% of the population lives below the poverty line and are classified as poor. One of the key welfare and poverty indicators is the minimum expenditure necessary to meet basic household food and non-food needs. Another contributing factors in the poverty level is education, working status, and age. 40% of the poor are from households led by someone with less than 6 years of primary schooling. Differences in working status show that poverty rate is lower with wage workers compared with other workers. Poverty is no discriminator of age. Head of households over the age of 50 have the highest poverty rating. The Solomon Islands has many natural resources: fish, forestry, gold, phosphates, lead, zinc, and nickel. Agricultural, fishing, and forestry are the major fields of earning within the Solomon Islands. Agriculture makes up 58.8% of the GDP, and agricultural products include cocoa, coconuts, palm kernels, fruit, rice, cattle, pigs, fish, and timber. Industries of fish such as tuna, mining, and timber made up 8% of the GDP. Services make up the remaining 39.2%. Agriculture accounts for 75% of the labor force, with 5% working in industry and the remaining 20% working in the service field. The use of land for agricultural resources is limited due to tropical storms and soil erosion. The forestry industry, one of the largest exports, has been inflicted with depletion issues in the past. Trade is very important to the Solomon Islands. 98% of the GDP comes from exports and imports. Their export partners include China, United Kingdom, India, Italy, Philippines, Malaysia, Japan, Australia, Hong Kong, and South Korea. Their highest export partner is China at 58.92%. Australia is their largest importer at 29%. Other import partners include Singapore, Malaysia, China, Japan, New Zealand, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, Fiji, and Hong Kong. The Solomon Islands' largest export is wood at 71.95%, and one of their largest imports comes from oil and mineral fuels at 16.30%. Ongoing issues with rules of law, regulatory inefficiency, and government size continue to contribute to the low economic state in the Solomon Islands. Property rights continue to cause civil unrest, with the country partly due to the lack of judiciary resources which hinder the trial process. Threats to judges and prosecutors also play a role in the lack of judiciary resources. Within the forestry and fishing sectors, there is large amounts of government corruption, which contributes to the economic state of the country. No matter how many strides they make to recognizing the need for business law reforms, putting actions to these words has been slow. This stems from bureaucratic bottlenecks. The undeveloped labor market creates inefficient enforcement for labor codes. The issues faced within the Solomon Islands are not unique to just them. Government corruption, political unrest, wars, natural disasters. All of these things contribute to the economic state, and they can be found in many countries, even our own here in the United States. Changes need to be made in their government process, in their judiciary system, in their police enforcements of laws and regulation. They need to be able to protect their land rights so that they can use the land how they wish, whether it be for agricultural needs or farming needs or timber. They also need to look more towards the other natural resources that are nearly untapped, such as lead, zinc, nickel, and gold, and look into ways to develop these as a resource for their own country. And also the expanded need for tourism. The country is beautiful for tourism, and if they can expand the tourism industry, they can also increase their economic status. Balance is needed in everything, and I believe the government and businesses of the Solomon Islands need to find a way to bring industries to the country and keep jobs at home.